So for me, I believe we can really do that, because the time we have a club being run by one person, saying he's the coach, he's the team manager, he's the secretary, he's all in that team, has really passed. So the structure requires talking about, maybe with time during the course of this discussion, talking about the hierarchy that is expected of a standard a football club, talking about the person at the top, those they report to, as it gets to the lower staff of that football club. Then if I am to add, the structure also requires the legal entity of the club, talking about it being registered as a corporate entity, or registered as an NGO, or being registered as any other, so that there will be a distinct entity of that existence of that club, different from the ownership
Yes.
of that particular club. So that's just my introduction speech during the course of this meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, Adam,
Thank you. Next on the introduction is Steve Davy. Steve is having a problem with his system, so let's move to Mr. Bello-lasoro A from Kwara. Unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Clearly.
Okay. It's a wonderful discussion. You know, when we look at the situation we're having right now in Nigeria, you admit with me that we don't actually, our system is very bad. That we don't actually have a good structure on ground like other counterparts in the Western world. Like when we look at the topic of discussion, the standard structure of a well-structured football club. If we look at how they do it in the Western world, I think the first thing they need to do is the reason why you want to have the club. So when you have a reason why you want to have the club, I think the next thing you need to do is getting it registered. It must be an entity, getting it registered. Now, this is where the structure comes in. Getting it registered, you have to look at, do you want to go for on a corporation, or you want to go for a private company, limited by guarantee or limited by share. There is other ones that they used to do in abroad. They call it the community interest company. So when you have all this, your purpose will determine which of the entity you want to push in for. Unlike what we have in Nigeria, like my brother said, that everyone is the owner of a club, whereby if I can decide I want to close down my club, if I can decide Hello.
Go on.
Are you okay? If I can decide, it can make any decision about the club without looking at the fans, without looking at the community, without looking at the influence that is going to give to people. We must look at that so that we look at one of the entity that we should go in for, like the uncorporation entity that is common in England. I think that is what we are doing here, but the only difference there is we did not carry each other along. It's just one-man business, which is very wrong. If you ask me, in Nigeria, we don't have a good structure. The structure we have is what the government are running, and it's sorry to say this word, it's a corrupt system. It's just to get money. They were not actually doing the business. And at the same time, they are killing the business for those who have the real mind to do it, to run it the right way. Because when you look at our league, they take most of they are more. We have like 80% of them in the league. So it's very hard for the private sector to come in who has the real intention of having a good structure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Now, Hugo Castro from Portugal. What really is the standard structure? Short introduction. You are on.
Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly.
I didn't understand your question because the sound was on and off, and I didn't hear your answer, your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the question is not really a question. You introduce yourself and an introduction to this topic of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Ah, okay, okay. Hello everyone. I'm Hugo Castro from Portugal. I'm currently the talent manager from on a club here in Portugal for the third division called Estrela Amadora. And on the normal structure of the club, and from my experience, we evolve everything around the football player. Um, we have a team, a back office team that we um, work relentlessly for them so that they can put their effort, 100% effort on the pitch every match day. Um, we try to keep it organized, of course, and it's a very hard work, but it will compensate on in the end. About the structure itself of a club, since we evolve around the player, we need to have several departments that take care of the player, either on the pitch with the coaching staff, the physios and the doctors, but also on the back, we have talent managers like me. We support every need of the player in every way, either professionally or personally, on the private life, I'm sorry. And then we have another layer that comprises the marketing and the administration. The administration as well is his purpose, his goal is to support the football players by giving them good facilities, good coaching staff, good professionals for them to evolve. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Hugo. Andre, are you still there? Mohammed. Anyway, Mehifu Jaiyeola from Kano.
Yes, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm Jaiyeola Mehifu, and I would start with a question. Have you guys heard of Bob Bishop? That's the first name. Have you heard of Wadama Deblito? Second name. Have you heard of Vic Vushan? Have you heard of the fourth name, Francis Kanajo? Have you heard of Lasso Bologna? This name sounds strange. I'm asking questions that people don't understand. Well, I'll be talking on today on talent ID, that's talent identification, which is from grassroots football and to any level. Bob Bishop discovered George Best. Wadama Brito discovered Pele. Vic Bushan discovered Joan Cruyff. Francis Canejo discovered Maradona. And Lasso Bologna discovered Ronaldo de Lima. Now, you see, these are people who are talent scouts, and they go unheard and unheralded in the world. That nobody cares about them, but we can't do without them. So I'll be discussing today on talent ID, how to identify a good talent. And I'll be taking us through the 3 ways we can identify a good talent, the 3 traditional methods, the 3 methods. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mehifu. Kelechi.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Engineer Kelechi Orji nnorom. I'm the president of Right to Win Sports Academy based in Nigeria here. Well, it's a wonderful topic that we are discussing this morning about the structure of football club. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, as it relates to Nigeria, the Nigerian context. Well, football nowadays is a big business across the world, and it goes into more than just buying a club and owning a club. You have to talk about so many departments in the club, the board of directors, the president, sports science department, recruitment department, and a whole lot of things. So like what you have in the UK, I want to use United Kingdom as an example. You go into the sports science department, you have coaches who are specifically employed to work in that department. They go into the history of the player and a whole lot of things. Then we also have the academy department, which is the youth system, which every club should have. They employ a lot of resources to groom these players from the different age categories. So there are a whole lot of things for us to discuss as regards having a proper structure in a particular football club. And I'm sure we will do justice to it today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is Andre online? Anyway, in his absence, let's see if Mohammed is back. Mohammed, are you on? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to the section 2, where we'll be discussing the topic in a roundtable manner. You can use shovel, you can use knife, you can use hoe, you can use spoon. Just cut it the way you want, the way that will suit you to discuss this topic. Standard structures of football club. Let's start with, what is the standard structure of the football club? Is football a business? Is football a business? Is having a football club a business? Someone who wants to invest in football club, what does it need? Kelechi, I will start from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, football can be a business and can also be run like just pleasure, just like a charity organization. So it depends on the essence of opening a certain football club. Some open football club just for their names to be heard. Typically, that is what we have in Nigeria, where private individuals float football clubs, political individuals float football clubs just for their names to be heard, maybe towards any political rally or something. And also, it can also be run as a proper business where private individuals start it as a core business. And how do you start a proper football club as a business? First of all, you have to go into issue of registration. How do you register the football club? You have to register it as a registered company in your country so that you can actually operate it like a business. Then after you are done with the issue of registration, then you go into having a proper structure on ground on how you can run the football club. And it goes into having board of directors in the club and appointing a president to run the day-to-day affairs of the club, creating different departments like the having sporting directors in the club and recruitment of coaches and all that. So specifically, I want to talk a little bit about how to go about doing some of these things. First of all, when you have your board of directors in place, they can decide to elect a president from all the board members that will lead the affairs of the club, maybe for 2 years, for 4 years, as the case may be. Then after you are done with that, you go into an issue of setting up a proper technical department that will run the affairs of the club. These technical departments are tasked with player recruitment, recruitment of the right coaches for the club, which the policy of the club would dictate the kind of recruitment that the club are going to do. You can have a club that have a vision to recruit young players, that have a vision to play attractive football. So it is on the technical department that is being led most times by the sporting director to recruit quality players and quality coaches who have the same vision as the club. Then you go into other things like issue of the sports science department, having all the required personnel in place to run the club. Then you go to another issue of maybe having your fans on board, because for you to run football as a business, you must have the fans on board with you. How do you organize the fans? For you to have home support, for you to be able to bring people to the stadium to watch your matches. You talk about setting up policies in place that will help you to get in money through gate takings and all that and all that. Then also, another very important issue as regards running a proper structure of a football club is setting up a proper academy system that will help the club in terms of revenue generation and to feed players to the first team. I give a typical example, what you have in English football, where they have the academy setup. In this setup, you have what we call the academy manager, who is tasked with overseeing everything that is being done in the academy of a football club. Then you have head of coaching, the operations manager, head of performance, head of recruitment, head of education, head of player care, and all that and all that. So because you have to have all these things in place to run football as a business. You find out in the United Kingdom, they have what they call elite player performance, where the league body are tasked with setting up academies across all the 92 professional clubs in England, and they have different categories where the league body gives you money for you to run your club, for you to run your academy. And because they are giving you money, of course, they are going to find out how you are using this money to develop the grassroots players, to bring players on board that will enable you to sustain for a long period of time. So they go into what they call, they have different categories. They have what they call the category 1, category 2, category 3, and category 4. Most of the Premier League clubs are being classed in the category 1 and category 2, and they are being given certain amount of money for them to run the academy. Like if you find yourself in the category 1, averagely they get about 4.6 million pounds is what the Premier League gives to these people through the FA for them to run their academies. Then you find out the guys that are in the category 2, they get about 2.2 million euros for them to run their academy setup. Then you get to the category 3, where they have about 740 euros for them to run, and down to category 4, where they get about 260 euros for them to run their academy. So this goes a long way to show you that football is business for them, especially in the Western world. And this is what we want to start bringing into our football here in Nigeria, to help private people, for them to really come into football, to come and invest. Because of course, it's not charity. You can't run football like a charity organization where you spend money, you keep on spending money without getting something in. So for you and for us to really get it right in the country, we have to start thinking about how we will run football as a business in the country. Encourage private individuals for them to come into football, to come and invest their money also. Then we can go into the staff structure of a typical football club or academy. You talk about head of performance, the physio, strength and conditioning coaches, the sports science, video analysis, and all that. In terms of video analysis, it helps you to get the day-to-day activities of your players, how they train, are they getting close to maybe a situation where they are prone to injuries, Are you going to slow down the pace of the training and all that? Then the conditioning, they have to check. They have to also check the progress of the players. Are they fit enough for them to be available for the first team coach to select them and all that? Then we can now still talk about the different roles of the different departments you can have in a typical football club. The head of coaching.
Yeah, Kelechi, I will have to stop you there.
Okay.
You will continue later. Let's hear from Eddie. Eddie is a registered intermediary. Let's hear from his side how the football club should be run. Eddie, over to you. 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Kelechi have actually given us a rundown of what we are really expected to discuss. I will say he has taken over the lecture. Would have actually engaged him as one of the lecturer in this meeting. Thank you so much, Kelechi. So for me to just add to some of these things he has said, fan engagement is very, very important. You know, there is one thing about setting up football clubs and ignoring the people you call your supporters. You know, it's very, very important. Those are some of the things we need to consider. Talking about merchandise, about things that will make us be known popular in the community that we are existing, and also community service. This is one thing that they ignore. We are currently in this advent of coronavirus. You see, some of these football clubs, they didn't take advantage of this pandemic to make themselves known to this community, even just by donating a face mask that is less than cents. Let me use that word. So some of these things are easy to be done, but it needs someone that has a bit of experience to run the affairs of this club. So now the structure. The structure, Kelechi have said a lot about the structure. So now, if we also add the importance of getting affiliated to whatever state you belong to, the importance of getting affiliated to them shouldn't be underestimated. It's very important you affiliate to your state FA, from there maybe getting your TMA, so that some of all these things that are being done, it shouldn't just be on paper alone. It shouldn't be running around. It should be that it's business, there's expectation, and we're talking about budgeting. Lastly, I will add, it's very important for a football club to be having its annual account. Like one of the clubs I represent in Lagos, Dream Stars Football Club, they recently sent me their audited year-end 2019 account that I should review and advise them. But I tell you, even the professional football club in Nigeria, some of them, they've not had. Some of all these things are just basic, and they are basic, but unfortunately, clubs don't take them important. They don't, because if you want to say you want to go and look for a sponsor, you should have something that, okay, this is what we've done, this is the record, this is our financials, this is what we have done. If you come in, this is how you can come in. So that's some of the things that we really need to let clubs know the importance and include in their structure. So the accounting department, the welfare department, talking about the player management that is being handled by the sporting director, as the case may be, and also having a unified board whereby issues affecting the football club are discussed with various opinions given, and maybe the best opinion now selected. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hugo Castro, from your experience working with third division for the Portuguese club, what does it mean to have a football club in Portugal?
If you want to buy a football club, you need to have a clear business model. You need to know in advance what you're going to do. Are you going to sell players and buying them cheap and sell them with a premium? Are you going to
Hello?
So that can, if you have management skills, you need someone with football skills. If you don't have football skills, you need someone with management skills. And then you can start progressing the club and define a pathway of milestones. If you want to achieve promotion, you will say, okay, I want to achieve promotion in 2 or 3 years. So you're going to work accordingly. If you want to bet or to have kids from the youth academy playing the first team, you will say, okay, in 5 years, just an example, in 5 years, I want to have 3 kids from the youth academy in the first team. In 10 years, I want to have 5 kids from the youth academy in the first team. So you need to program yourself in advance so you can start working on that right away, instead of, okay, I'm going to buy a football club and then I want promotion, I want kids from the youth academy, I want to sell players with a premium. You can't do everything at once. You need to start from one simple thing, although complex, but it's one simple thing, and then you evolve in time, in a determined period of time, 5 years, like I said, 3 years, whatever you see fit, and then you evolve from that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hugo. Before we proceed, we also have in attendance today the Secretary of Remo Stars Football Club, Mr. Michael. If you are on, just signify. We also have Chairman of Asana Football Club. If you are on, just signify. All right, you are welcome. Olajide Akinyelu, you represent Gbagada Football Club. In Gbagada, can you tell us what standard you built your club on?
Yes, for us at Gbagada FC, like Hugo rightly said at his last comment, that before you get into the football business, you need to understand football itself and you need to know the right model that works for you. For someone like us as Gbagada, when we came into the industry, we wanted to build a community football club. You know, we've all been fan of EPL, you know, for years, and you know most clubs are based within communities, and it's that's rooted in the sense that even if Man United is playing on a Saturday, there are other clubs in St. Manchester that'll have games same Saturday, and you see their own fans go to their game instead. You understand? They might have a crowd of 1,700, but they have, you know, committed fans, and that's the model we at Gbagada FC built the club on, a community-based football club. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. Anyway, the question of the day is the standard structure. What is the standard structure of the football club? How can you describe the standard of a football club?
Well, football, the standard structure, like I said from the very beginning, it's no joke at all. You understand? It's no joke at all. If we want to use the world standard, like I said, maybe only, I'm not sure of how many clubs in Nigeria will pass for a standard football club, you know. The first question is how many clubs own their stadium? You understand? How many clubs have the right youth system, maybe from the U21, U18, you know? You can easily say these so-called big clubs in Nigeria, how many times have you seen players progress from their youth system, if at all they have? You understand?
it's for us at Gbagada FC, you know, there's something they say. If you go into the banking industry, for example, you know, First Bank is a big bank. I'm just using that as an example. At the same time, you'll find one small building, microfinance bank. It's also a bank, but you know, they can't operate at the same level as First Bank.
Yeah.
So for us at Gbagada FC, we know we are not there yet. We don't have the funds because football is business. When you go into finances of big clubs, and you'll be shocked with how much they spend a year. They're operating, you see clubs in England spending maybe over 500 million a year in pounds. You understand? There is no how you give us that kind of funds and won't be able to operate at that level. The reality is, for you to operate at certain standard, you need certain amount of money. But as a small community club, we won't allow that stop us in any way. Meaning, at our level, we still try to bring professionalism into everything we do. You understand? Even if you have a budget of, for example, 20 million, you can't compare or try to do what a club in Nigeria that has a budget of 600 million. It's not possible. You can't compete with them on any level. Football business is money. The money you pump into it is what will determine what you can get out of it. So I'm not one of the people that will sit and wish, oh, you're investing just 10 million. You're thinking your 10 million will turn to gold overnight. That won't happen in the football world. You understand? It's what you pump in that will determine what you get out. So for me, I'll just quickly touch on what's it called now? The football business economy structure. You understand? For me, we are not just running a football club. You understand? We understand that for us to survive as a club, we have to run our club as a business. And the standard structure or football economic structure is quite big. But like I said, it's not meant for clubs like us. You know, by the time I break it down, you know, you have in the middle of it all, you have your supporters, the fans. You know, you have competition organizers. In our own case, we participate at the FA Cup, at the NLO. Then the third one is the brands. So for the supporters, in terms of the football economy, it's a two-way thing for them. As a fan, you pay for your DSTV to, you know, to watch your darling team. You know, you subscribe to channels to watch them. You're bringing money into the industry that way. At the same time, the same fan come to games. You know, they pay for ticket. And for us now, anything we're talking about now, I'm bringing it down to the Niger context. You understand? What works for us here. We can't copy and paste what works abroad because the environment, the structure, it's not the same. So when we're talking about solutions, I like to get real with what can work in Nigeria, what has worked. You understand? And so for us now, as for supporters, like I said, you know, you pay for subscriptions, there is ticketing and merchandising. So the question is, how do you tap in as a small club to get your fans to subscribe? You know, there are different ideas. I'm just going to share some. In terms of getting your fans, well, I would speak like a businessman here now. Football clubs, we are all about milking our fans. That's the honest truth. You know, a fan would support a club. Like I said, I don't want to use the UK structure. Now, let me use the Niger structure. You know, it's about milking our fans. You know, if you have this fan, the way we think at the club is, how can I get this fan to, you know, contribute maybe a minimum of 20 to 30,000 naira to the club per season without knowing he has spent that much? You understand? When you start thinking like that, you would create products. You would create things that the fans willingly, because they're passionate about the club, because they are connected to the club, they do these things without knowing they are doing it. You understand? One of it is maybe going to games. That's the least, because I'll get to the structure we have. Match days is the least revenue a club can generate. That's the least, you understand? Because if you calculate how many fans come to our games, how much do we charge for these games? And like you said from the very beginning, I'm glad that you said something about football club being in the entertainment industry. I keep saying it, most club owners don't understand that part of the business. You know, you get on so many courses, you get on so many things, and they tell you, focus on yourself, don't focus on the competition. That's a big lie, if you ask me. You know, you're trying to get the same money from that same customer, that same audience. I call them customer, not fans at the moment now. You know, for example, if you ask me now, oh, who's my competitor in the industry? I've had people walk up to me and say, you're doing well with your club. How come you're willing to share all of these ideas with fellow grassroots clubs? And I'm like, they are not competitors to me. You understand? Until the ecosystem is right there before we can start getting value for what we do in the football industry. So who are our competitors in the industry? The honest truth is, for me, there's a statistics that shows that 40 million Nigerians play soccer betting daily. Industry, you see us packaging our games with less than 200,000. How do you want to charge? How do you want to get value? How do you want to make the same customers pay that much? So until we start to understand that we are not just a sports team, that we are actually a business, and we are competing with not just, I'm not competing with any club in Lagos, any football club per se, you know, but you're trying to get the same funds from these same people that, you know, spend on soccer betting, spend at this concert and all of that. So once we start understanding that that is our real competition, then most of we clubs will start to sit up and try to do things the right way. And that is why for us at Gbagada Football Club, we try to keep a standard that everything will churn out as a club. So I would like to pause now so others can talk, because if you allow me, I can go on and on. You understand? So I like to pause there.
No problem. Let's hear from Kelechi again. Kelechi, you are trying to say something the other time before I stopped you. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I set up this company, Right to Win Sports, for us to move into real football business in Nigeria. And considering that we are in a very, very difficult terrain, especially here in Nigeria, private club owners are not being encouraged by the system we have in place. So we started off, first of all, by starting the academy wing of the organization. We employed a lot of scouts across the country. We have scouts that are scouting for us in the northern zone. We have people in the southern zone and here in the east. So because for me to be able to run it as a business, I have to be very, very realistic, because I'm competing against clubs who have more resources than me. So I have to be really, really creative in the way I go about it for me to survive in the whole football business. So we created the academy wing of the organization, where we brought in our coaches and our staff and all that. So we went on a massive recruitment across the whole country for us to get quality players and to form the bedrock of the academy. And then after that, after about a year of doing it, so we thought about it will also be nice if we can start up the football wing of the organization, which brought about our maiden edition in the Nationwide League, NLO1 in the country, which we played in the 2018 and 2019 season. Running football as a private owner in Nigeria is very, very difficult, because one, you don't actually have the big resources for you to run the way you want to run. And even if when you try to run it the proper way, you have a lot of issues with the league body, with government-owned clubs that will come in to frustrate all your efforts. Basically, I want to break down our process here in Right to Win into 4 categories. The first one I want to talk about is our policy as regards youth recruitment. We go to the grassroots to get these players because that is the only place we can get quality, untapped players, players who are still raw. So after our recruitment, we'll bring them into the academy from the under 15. Then we'll try to give them proper training, to groom them, to keep them in a place. We'll have a good camp here in Umuahia where we'll keep these players. The ones that are still in school, we'll try to have partnerships with some secondary schools around where we put them and groom them. Then the next issue is about, Akinyelu talked a little bit about it, social media presence. We have millions of people who are in the social media space these days. And for us to be able to attract these people to be involved with us in Right to Win, we have created at least a good image for us in the social media space in the country. Having a lot of followers, Facebook, Instagram, and different social media channels. Because through this means, we will have this personal relationship with our fans. We'll have this personal relationship with people who are really involved in football in the country. So I think we have been able to achieve a lot by having a very big social media presence as well as a club and as an academy. Then another issue I think a lot of us are facing in football in Nigeria is government interference in football. For me, states and the federal government don't have any business getting involved in football financing in Nigeria because it doesn't make sense that every year, every month, we have monthly allocations from state government going to clubs who use this money to pay salaries upon salaries, execute matches, and at the end of the day, they have zero accountability. So this is a very big problem for private investors and private club owners in Nigeria. To get these boys in shape, employ coaches, pay salaries, and at the end of the day, I don't have a level playing ground competing against these government clubs. So it's a big issue for club owners in Nigeria as well. And it's an issue I think we need to solve before we can really take football serious in the country. With the recent issues that are coming up about clubs having a guarantee of 200 million, I think is a welcome development because it will trickle down both to the second division clubs in Nigeria and also the third division club, because we have to run it as a business. Football has to be run like a business in Nigeria. This is the only way we can get the fans back to watch our matches like what we used to have in the early 70s and in the early 80s, where even from gate takings, clubs can be sustainable in Nigeria. So these are areas we are looking at to also improve what we are doing in Right to Win. Then another major area we have actually invested a lot of our time is area of scouting of players, because we have to be realistic. Myself as a private club owner, I know this is one of the major areas where I can actually get in revenue. So we have tried to have partnership with some foreign clubs. We have a good partnership with Sparta Prague in Czech Republic. We have a good partnership with Slavia Prague in Czech Republic and a couple of other clubs in Europe who we have developed this partnership with to run for a couple of years. They come in every year to train our coaches, to look at the emerging talent we have in the academy and the club. And actually, we have had a little bit of success. We are able to push about few players who have earned revenue for the club and for us to now move to the next level, because this is the only way that we can be sustainable. We don't rely on any money coming from government like the government-owned clubs. So this is one of the few areas where we can get in money to be sustainable and to move the club to the next level. Then the issue of playing in the league and playing in the nationwide league in the country is another area where we talked about. We said it would be good for us to also float the football side of the whole business, where we can expose some of these kids to real football. Because there is no point you train these kids, you train them, they don't experience real football. So we expose these our young talented players by playing them in the league. Let them play as kids, 16, 17, 18-year-old boys. And I'm not talking about the normal age you have in football in Nigeria, real age for these boys to start playing in the league. And it helps them a lot because when they move to Europe, the transition to the type of football they play is very seamless for them. So I think for a private club owner, we have to be very, very realistic because the way our system is in the country, these are one of the few areas where you can actually get in revenue in for you to do other bigger projects you want to do. I think for now, I will stop here to allow other speakers to also contribute.
Thank you, Engineer Kelechi. I don't know how it's possible for an engineer to also be a club chairman. Well, I can see. Anyway, Bello-lasoro, are you online? No, it's off. Mehifu.
No. Hello.
You are on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay,
Bello, you are on.
Yes. Thank you very much. Like I said, all the speakers have said it all. But for me to add, I think we have to be objective with our discussion here because it's really a very big discussion that will catapult our football development. Like I said from my introduction, the standard football structure we have in Nigeria is very, very weak. I would say is just, we are just starting. We are just like 10% starting. Because looking at this, the topic, standard structure of football. I have an academy as well, and we've produced a lot of players. Almost every year we have a player out of the country. But the most important thing that we are lacking here in Nigeria is the restructure is not there. We're trying to do the business while we don't have structure for the business we are doing. Like I said, the first thing that needs to look into, like Hugo said, is the aim, the purpose of having the club. What is our purpose, which is the first thing. Then we need to make a registration. The registration has to define our purpose. Part of the registration, the CAC, the football governing body, the FAs and NFF, blah, blah, blah. But the most important thing is how is it run? That's the most important thing. Like now, I'm Lasora. It seems to be I'm the head. I'm the one taking the shots. We cannot get results. We cannot have a standard structure in that area. What we need to do is have our directors. We have the technical director taking care of what we've been discussing since, like the scouting, the playing, the technical aspect. Then having another branch, which is the administration. The administration is in charge of the marketing. These are the people to market the clubs, the media, the people to promote the club. Then the accounting department as well to take care of all the accounts, the money that comes in and goes out, how much we need to spend. Then the fan-based management, which is very important. My brother there, Gbagada, as I do call him, you've done a great job because that is where the business is. That is where the money is. That is really the club. The fans, they are the clubs. They are the ones that make things happen. In Nigeria, we don't have a fan base. Even the so-called league that we used to go and watch, if you have about 3,000 fans, how much is that fans putting into the business? But the problem we have is the system is not good. If the system is good, take for instance, a club owned by a government. If the system is good and it's running like a business, in every match, they must know how much is coming in from the fans. But here in Nigeria, it's like free. And doing it free is killing the private sector, like I said. The government is doing like a social responsibility. They are using the Ministry for Youth and Sport Development. The budget given to them is what they are using to run the club, which is very wrong. That is the first aspect where we get it wrong in Nigeria. But we can still make it right, especially the private sector. We can make it right. How do we make it right? our entity, our setup, which is very important. Is it a guarantee or is it a share? Do we want to set it up to make profit? That is where it comes from. If it is a guarantee, maybe a liability complaint by guarantee, then people contribute money without waiting for share profit. Now, if it is for share, then you are expecting profit. That is where I'm coming, because that is our focus here. If you are expecting profit, then we have to put everything in place to achieve that profit. The marketing has to do the marketing job. The accounting has to account and audit and do all the necessary things. The media need to promote. My brother, Gbagada, like I said, you've done a good job. You are a role model in the business when it comes to the private sector. In the media, you are doing great. I like that. So the media has to do their job. Then the fan base have to be seriously dealt with. There must be a lens focused to all the lens. Let me say that. The lens, apart from the technical aspect, under the administrative, the lens should be focused to the fans, because you have to do everything to attract them. This is where it comes from. This is where the money comes from. Let me say. For instance, Gbagada is having a league match to play. 20 league match, home and away, maybe 40 or 20. Let me say 40 or 20. Then he's going to play 10-0 match. Out of that 10-0 match, if a seat per fans is 2 or 1,000 naira per match, then you have to do something. These fans, you encourage them to pay the whole season of that first round, which is 10 home match, which is 10,000 naira. That 10,000 naira is an investment. If you have like 10,000, or let me say 1,000 fans, you multiply 10,000 by 1,000, then you have a budget. So this is what we need to look at. This is what. Hello.
You're on.
Hello. Okay. This is what we need to look at, and this is why I'm saying we have to be objective. We have to take it from the root. We have to go back and put a proper structure there. Then, and another way around, that is for the share and whatever. If you want to make a kind of, I made mention of something, uncorporated complaint, like the one we have, which is common clubs around, like the community. Set up a member. Don't let it be only you. Like what I'm trying to do here in Kwara State, we are trying to float a new club, Ladere United. So this is what we do about Ladere United. We went to the community. There is a community in Kwara State in Lorry that bears that name. They are the dynasty of Afaja dynasty in short. So their great grandfather is Ladere. So we sat down with them, we discussed with them what we want to do is the community football. So how do we do it? Now we selected members, 7 members. Those 7 members comprises of the area. Within that area, these 7 members, they are representing the club. Out of these 7 members, one of them will be the chairman of the club. Now, from that community, everyone in that community is entitled to be a member. So what we do is we sell out a card, a membership card. A membership card, do you have 200 naira to contribute, or is 100 naira you want to contribute to this club every month? This is how we do it. Some volunteer 1,000, some volunteer 500, some volunteer 200, and everything was noted down. It's like a crowdfunding, So indirectly, we have a fan base. Indirectly, from that community, if the community is like, the population is like 20,000, then we are having like 5,000 fans for that community. So if we have a football match in the stadium, we already know we have a 5,000 fans because they put their 200 naira every month, they put their 100 naira every month. So to come to the stadium to watch will be very easy for them. My brother Gbagada, please. You, like I said, you are a role model, and everyone is looking at how you do it, and they are trying to tap from it. Actually, take it as your social responsibility. You can share ideas with the grassroots coaches. The grassroots clubs. You can share your idea with them. It does not go where if you only use going up and you don't have a friend or you don't have a junior beside you to, So please, my brother, this is how we can change the system. This is how we can put the normal structure. If we are able to put this structure on ground, although it's very hard, but along the line, like you said, like Gbagada said, we are making them. It's not like making. It's like giving to them a feelings. We are giving to them a kind of a feelings like when you are having sex. Yes, you give a lady money because you want to have sex. Sex of 3 minutes. So it's just like that. Football is like that. You want to give them a feeling this is your club. This is your club owned by you. So what do you want to do to it? We are playing social team. You have to come and share them up. So by doing this, at least I think we have a proper structure. We just have to look at it. What do we want to do? Where exactly, what is the purpose? When you have that purpose, get it registered, then set up your members or your directors, then you have your board directors to look after it because it needs to be checked. Because we don't check ourselves, this is where we end up not hearing a lot of clubs that have rise. And the worst of it is government putting hand in our in football business in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bello-lasoro. You have actually punched some people's face now with your point. Anyway, Michael Onikute is the secretary of Remo Stars Football Club. Let's hear from him for 2-3 minutes. Then Mr. Mehifu Jaiyeola from Kano, you stand by. Michael, over to you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm quite thrilled to be here. The points that have been raised are so enormous. And this topic is actually a very, very wide one. It's not as easy as it seems because having a standard football club is something of a large budget. On the part of Remo Stars, we've been doing our bits to ensure we get to that stage. It is a gradual process. Every club in Europe, at some point, we're in this stage that we are. And gradually with vision, focus and objectives, they were able to metamorphose into what we see today. So many parts of the football club is quite important. And they all link to each other. Talk about fan base, talk about media, talk about the sports science, every point that have been made. But the key thing is starting gradually. I'll make reference to Gbagada. Yes, on the social media, I myself for one, I was like, wow. But while you venture into that, you also have to look deep in, and because the key thing is the players, the products that you need to sell. In Nigeria, the football that we run, sorry to say, is not professional as we portray it to be inward. My team has actually played in the Nigerian Professional League twice. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult when you play in a league that the revenue is not forthcoming, and where you ought to generate revenue from the sales of merchandise, from match tickets. The key thing again that you have to generate money from is players transfer. That in the country, it's not where it's ought to be. You talk of tickets, match day revenue. When we're in the Premier League, we had to reduce the price of our tickets to actually get the fans, the first season, to actually get them in. Yes, they were in. And they gave us the support that we wanted. And we sold one thing to them. That is a self of ownership. The feeling of ownership. Like, this is part of me. This is me. That is the key thing that most clubs need to sell to the fans, to actually get something from them. You have to make them feel, I am part of this. So we did that. Yes, they came in. And the first season, we got relegated. We learned something from that. We learned that we had the qualities of players, because at the end of that season, teams came in and scooped all our best players. We learned that we had the quality, but we were playing on a bad surface. So we got relegated. We got promoted again. The second season, the same thing happened. We learned from the fact that, yes, we had the talents, which is the players, which is key. We're putting them in the right shape to play these matches. So what is actually going on? it is the turf that we're playing on. So we had a meeting, and the chairman, who is well known in terms of football business, said to us, said, see, coincidentally, he also has a team in Portugal, which you see developments over there. He said, see, we keep playing, doing our best, bringing out these talents, and we keep dropping down from the top league because of the surface. And then he said, see, I'm done with this professional league for now. I need to invest in the club. And at the moment, we are doing something that would change the face of football in Nigeria. It is where you actually have your own ground. And then when your fans come in, actually the fans are actually seeing the developments in the area, and they are seeing it from the scratch, from the topsoil to the pitch to the stands. And if you're seeing that, you feel the self of ownership that yes, this is something that we want in our town. This is something that we want in our village, which goes back to community. So at the end of the day, the structures have to be in place, which is key. The structure is key. There's no how you would get talents and then that you hope to sell portray to foreign clubs that they play on a bad pitch. Even if you want to do the media aspect of it, like Gbagada is doing, you can't record the players' action or clips or highlights on a bad turf. It doesn't even make any sense. So we need the structure, the facilities for us to bring out these exceptional players is key. Once the facilities are in place, I'm going to assure you, the things will metamorphose gradually. The facility is there. Okay, the facility, there's a pitch now. We have talent. The best coaches to nurture this talent into professionals will be the next thing. You get that in gradually. The club, either as an academy or a professional side, would metamorphose into a strong name in the football industry. It's difficult, I know. People put in their time, money, and energy, but at the end of the day, it is we ensuring that at this moment we need to take away the mind of the government, take away our minds off government interference and everything. We need to do things inwardly with or without the government. If it is a private league, 10 teams come up, you have a good pitch, you have a good surface to play, you have a good crowd ambience, it is enough to sell your product, which is key, the business aspect of the sport, not for political aspirations or for self-glorification. It is the business aspect. And the business aspect for us in the country that is key, it is players transfer. And once you have a good turf, you have a good team, you have good talents in your squad, the fans will come in. Then you can now milk them. As like the word Gbagada used, you can now milk them. But if you don't have these things, if you play on a bad turf, if you play on a less attractive stadium, you play on we watch the English Premier League today because of the crowd ambience, because of the turf that we see, because of the beautiful things that we see. So we need to actually, even if it's a small pitch that you have in your home ground, make it visible, make it attractive. That will get people to your stadium. Branding, that will get people to, that is the key thing. It will get people to your stadium, it will get people to associate with themselves with your football club, and then you can milk them, you can portray your talent, and then you get money from business, from the transfer. Once you get money from transfer, you can start thinking big and say, okay, I need to expand this. And at this proper stage of football, academies or clubs, we need to do more of investments in ourselves, in the project that we have. People complain, the government this, the government that. Yes, it is when you begin to do these things, and then they won't be able to ride on you and say, no, no. You will tell them you are investing your money, you are doing this. If it's a private, yes, the private league might not give you the recognition for you to get your teams to the CAF Champions League or to. No, you don't need that for now. Your private league is there. The FA Cup competitions is there. Just keep playing. Keep emanating this talent. Out of 100, I'm pretty sure one player would give you the necessary fund that you need to invest. So it's all in all, it's key. It's a gradual process. We shouldn't just rush into it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, I can assure you. It's difficult inwards to actually get to the top football standard club in Nigeria. It's difficult. The environment, the political environment is not conducive. The FA, to some extent, aren't doing a deep down job in terms of helping these academies to grow. Yes, it's everywhere. Late back in the early stages of Barcelona and Real Madrid, they had let me just a bit into this. They had a transfer tussle between the player that Barcelona wanted to buy. I think was a player from South America, and then Barcelona actually went to the player's current club and had this transfer, while Real Madrid went to the player's recent club and then got the player. So politically, the decision went in favor of Real Madrid, but Barca learnt from that, and then that really caused the rivalry between them. Barca learnt from that and grew from that. So every decisions that the government make might not actually go into your way, but you actually need to learn from that and grow inwardly, develop yourself inwardly. The players, as much as little as it is, I appreciate some grassroots clubs in Lagos. G12 also is doing a fantastic job, even if it's difficult. Team 360, yes, we identify as a football club from ours, we identify these clubs that are doing actually good things in player development, which is key. It helps takes away crime from the society. It is key. So we need to, all in all, that the point I'm trying to portray is that we need to invest more in ourselves in this little way. The player development is key. As little as it can be, try and play on a good surface. Once you have a good turf, I can assure you your talent will continue to grow. You'll be able to get one or two players to sell. Then the income comes in. The selling is not the local market here. In Nigeria, we have, as a famous of we have clubs in the Premier League owning. So it's even though you say these government clubs, they have money, there are so many agendas around the money that they get. So many breakdowns of how they spend their money. It's actually difficult to understand. But the ones you can get into foreign clubs, if it's MOU you can have, if it's if you don't even get the transfer instantly, you get on the future sales, is important. But I want to encourage everyone to keep doing the little they can to ensure that their clubs get to metamorphose into that stage that we all want to be. It's difficult in the country from the administrative parts and everything, but I want to encourage everyone to keep doing their possible best to ensure that you get they get the maximum talent in the country for your football club to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Onikute, the Secretary of Remo Star Football Club. Anyway, from my research, I found out that the so-called Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Everton, Liverpool Football Club, they are all registered as an NGO. Mr. Mehifu Jaiyeola, what can you say about that? Clubs registering as an NGO. What's the situation in Nigeria?
Well, it's very, very tricky, club registering as NGO. I tried a couple of times to register clubs as NGO, but the CAC turned it down, especially with the latest policy. But I could tell you NGOs are social enterprise. They take from the society, they give back, they work hand in hand with the society. I have had the privilege of working and also with a club which is an NGO registered as an NGO in Lesotho, in the far there in South Africa, Kick for Life. And Kick for Life is registered as a social enterprise. They have the number 7 restaurant, they have their hotels, they have the pitches, which was rented to them for 100 years by the National Police of Lesotho. Very organized club, run like an NGO, helps you to cut taxes, helps you to, the way churches run in Nigeria, they run as NGOs too. They own their schools, they own everything they can be sued, they can sue, they have right to own assets. In my opinion, I think professionally it's better to own clubs as NGO, fall into that category than as a limited liability or as a private property, which is what clubs abroad are tapping into. This concept is new in Nigeria and it's not really feasible, especially for community clubs. Better for it to run as NGO because they wouldn't be paying taxes. They could still own property, they could still sell players, they could still do all their transfers and everything. Audited accounts can just be audited and submitted to FRS just for submission's sake to meet the requirements, but not really to be scrutinized for tax payments and several others. So that's just my general feeling about it. That's my general feeling about it. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Mehifu. Well, I'm coming back to you. But let me touch on Coach Deji Oseni, Coach Eri, Ayodeji Akerele, Adegunshola. A minute, please, Coach Deji Oseni. Introduce yourself and to the question, that the topic. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Thank you for recognizing me. I'm Coach Deji. I'm actually based in London, but I'm planning to start a women's team in Abeokuta next year. So I thought, I would obviously watch what is going on, just to listen on, just to get some advice. Of course, Coach Yelu is someone who I speak to regularly, somebody who has obviously been advising me on, the best practice, the best way to form the club. I think as far as Nigeria, I think, especially when you're starting from the grassroots, I think you need to decide which factors you find most important in building your club. I think personally, I feel it's important to have one solid coach for the coaching side. And then I feel you need to have one media personality, somebody who's going to be able to produce media materials for you so that fans can interact and so that they can be aware of the things that are going on in your club. Because I feel like there's a lot of Nigerian clubs doing great things, but nobody knows it is happening because they're not publicizing it on the proper platforms. A lot of Nigerian clubs are still relying on old school communication methods. A lot of young people don't read newspaper anymore. You don't listen to radio anymore. And a lot of us, depending on where you're based, electricity is not great. So watching television is not always going to be a great thing. So instead of that, that's where you should be utilizing social media. Social media is free. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think every football club should have those three platforms in order to share the material, in order to access for the fans. And the great thing about those platforms is that even if you miss the initial submission of that media material, you can go back and look at it again because it is always there. With television, once you have missed it, it is gone. So that is where, I feel like there's certain things that we can really stick on. So for me, what is key is having a solid coach, having a media person, having people who are active in the community as maybe a representative, somebody who knows the community well, somebody who is well-spoken and can speak on your behalf within the community to garner interest from the locals. Somebody who speaks the dialect of the local community, somebody who has an understanding of where the local football fans, the viewing centers, where the viewing centers are, the best viewing centers in the community, where the best footballers in the community, maybe even he can double up as a scout because I understand obviously finances is very tight. So you have to choose what type of structure best suits what you're trying to achieve. So I feel like you have to choose which structure best suits the what you're trying to achieve as a football club. So yeah, so that's basically just what I just wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Coach Eri, over to you. Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kajabula Temitopaye. I reside in Abeokuta. So I guess I'll be working with Coach Oseni soon, very soon. I own a football academy here in Abeokuta, a football academy. And also I have also a project that I'm also working on, same with Coach Oseni. We have a lot in common. A project I'm also working on with a football club coming up in Abeokuta very soon, which is what prompted me to come here to, understand what it means to structure a club. And I've listened to so many people. I also work with Coach Yelu on daily basis. In fact, he has been great help. He has been of a great help in helping me set up to the point I have gotten to so far. And for me, some of the things I would like to add is that a lot of people don't mention the importance of having an office when it comes to running a football club in Nigeria. And, a lot of people talk, one of the things that doesn't make people take us seriously is we run a football club from our cars, from our phone, from everywhere we find ourselves. And in as much as people want to invest their mindset in credibility, they need to see an entity in place. That structure involves an office. When people pass, when people go through the road, they see that, okay, there is a football club, this is where they operate. It makes them feel like, these people actually know what they are doing, and they want to come to your matches to see what you actually come up with in that office. One of the things Coach Yelu touched on is having a competition with the entertainment industry. And something I want to add to that is there is something they do with the entertainment industry is the ambassadorship, which is something that I feel like we can do when it comes to making our fans support us now. That ambassadorship, I believe, is very important. I am looking for a way to match it up with the football club I have coming on, in a way whereby I know it is not so easy to get people to, people that are big names to have an interest in what you do. But there are some people of very, very little, crowd attention that you can talk to, that when those kind of people associate with your entity, they tend to get people's attention. And one other thing I want to add on is, when we are going to run a football club, something I learned from Coach Yelu, and something I have always known, to be quite frank, is that understanding people, especially when we come to the Nigerian context, understanding people is very, very important. When you understand people, you can actually build a business model around that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the social media thing. We've mentioned Facebook, we've mentioned Twitter, we've mentioned everything. But there is one particular app that we tend to neglect as Nigerian coaches, and it is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where the professionals are. LinkedIn is where you get scouts, where you get partnership, where you get professionals to actually talk to. On Twitter, on Facebook, you get a lot of, before you go through, you have to go through 10 people to find one. On Twitter, on all those stuff. But on LinkedIn, by the time you speak to 2 people, you already you can get a working relationship. I think it's something that we should also look into. That LinkedIn is a very, very important app for me. I think people right now should look into diving into that aspect of social media to improve their business side in the football club. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Eri. McDonald, unmute yourself.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Emmanuel Magdalena by name. So, from Ibarapa Central Local Government area, Igora. So, I'm a coach to a grassroots club here, called the FC Ambassador Igora here. So, I saw the program online, so I wish to join the program to learn more about the coaching stuff and how football is going to be structured in Nigeria and to make things good. So, like, I've learned a lot about the program right now. So, and my need to contribute to the program is, my brother just said down, Coach Cherry, he said, I say everything about how to improve and how to mingle with people who can really help, in the term of connection or whatever. So make this far better. So that aspect. And the second, I really appreciate Coach Olajide Akinyelu Gbagada FC. Yeah, he's trying a lot because I do follow him online and I follow his program and other things. So I even subscribe as a member of the team online because it's really great and it's really doing a good job where it's come to talent development and football community and in Nigeria right now. So what I can really say for now is that if all the football club can go to private session instead of government or whatever, I think this can be more improved and this can be more going further than where we are now. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you. Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah.
As an intermediary, what do you think is the job of an intermediary in club structuring? How can an intermediary help clubs basically in their structure? Eddie, are you on? Wow, Eddie is not here. Mehifu, Olajide Akinyelu should get set after Mehifu. Then Olajide Akinyelu, I will come to it. Then Hugo Castro from Portugal. We say something. Okay, Eddie is back. Eddie, are you hearing me?
Yeah, sorry, my network has been terrible.
Okay, did you hear the question?
No, not at all.
As an intermediary, what is the contribution of an intermediary to a proper structure of a football club?
Right, the contribution of an intermediary is enormous because with the virtue of my position as an intermediary, I will be having interface with several clubs. So if I'm engaged with a club, there are opportunities that will arise that I will have to advise them on one or two issues that will crop up in a club and how they can run it in a professional way. So my role as an intermediary doesn't really encompass only about transfer of players. Like Right to Win, I actually encourage them to see how they set up their social media, and with time, we'll be working closely together to see how we can make ourselves known to the world. So the emphasis is not only about my defined role of transferring or getting attraction or followership to the club, but also to see how that the club is run professionally. Like personally, I want to be a party to a team that doesn't align itself with the statutory regulations of NFF and as extended to FIFA. So as an intermediary, you need to encourage the clubs to abide by all the rules and regulation that pertains to owning and running a football club, and also how to treat their players in the best way, maybe talking about as it relates to proper documentation in contract and the other form of documentation that in the future they can actually benefit from those proper documentation. Thank you.
Eddie, is it necessary for a club to work with an intermediary? Is it compulsory for them to have to work with a registered agent as a club agent?
With your permission, I would have desired that question to be answered by some clubs I represent here who have some of their representative, because there are some things I will say now, other persons might misinterpret it, maybe because I want to be engaged by clubs. So I have Gbagada here and Right to Win clubs that I represent, and I believe we have some good relationship, though it has really not brings millions as we expected to them. But I tell you, they will be in a better position to respond to that question. So please permit me to pass the question to.
No time.
So it will be better when the response comes from them. It will be better off, I assure you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Olajide Akinyelu, is it necessary for a club to work with an intermediary?
It's compulsory. It's not necessary.
It's compulsory.
It's compulsory because the thing with the main problem with maybe grassroots football in Nigeria is at our level, most of us, we own our clubs. You understand? We are coaches and we get into the industry and we start to run the club. But if you want to grow as a club, you need to collaborate, partner with professionals. Let me put it like that. In as much as I'm a football coach, I understand football on the pitch, but I really don't understand how the football transfer, all of these things work. And in order to avoid getting into troubles, I needed to partner with him. And like I said, we're talking about standard structure. We have, like I said, when you're big, you would start to have some certain department in-house. But as of now, we're still growing. So we outsource some part of it. And for example, the legal aspect, in as much as Mr. Ogbemudia is in charge of advising us, he said something about not bringing us millions yet, but what he has given to us as a club, it's more than millions. You understand? You hear of clubs, signing players from 1 year, then the player wants to leave, you now start illegal argument. He was able to school us. He was able to educate Gbagada FC that don't make that mistake. When you find a prospect, try and invest and keep these players for 3-4 years contract. Not keep, but take him on. That way you avoid all these illegal fight about the player wants to leave at the end of one season for free, then you think you deserve something. If you do the things the right way, and like I said, working with him, working with Olisagbaku, but having the right people to work with you as you grow, it's very, very important because you can't know it all. So for me, it's compulsory. You need to work with people to, move to the next level.
Thank you, Akinyelu. Kelechi, is it compulsory or necessary for football clubs to work with an intermediary?
Oh, can you hear me?
Clearly.
Okay. For me, it's more than, I don't know how to emphasize it. It's a must as a football club that you work with an intermediary. For us, we have seen so much success because as a grassroots club in Nigeria, if we want to be realistic and want to speak the truth, 70 to 80% of revenue we can get from this business is from player sales. And it's important that you engage an intermediary who will teach you, who will direct you on how to do proper documentation as regards your players. Because most of us live on training compensation and solidarity that we get from some of the players that must have passed through our clubs from the U13 to U15 to U16 to U18. So it's important that you have a proper registered intermediary who can help you to make proper documentation, to make sure that you don't lose out on some of these huge sums of money that you can stand to earn in the future. So imagine a situation where you have a Victor Osimhen passing through your club when he was probably 13, 14, 15 years. Then fast forward 7, 8 years down the line, he's making a transfer of 70 million euros to Napoli. So if you don't have a proper documentation, you lose out on training compensation and solidarity that would in turn help your club to step up to the next level.
Thank you.
So for me, it's a must.
Because of our time, I don't want you to go to that level. So let's start from there. So to those who want to invest in football now, or to the coaches, club owners here, you have heard that it's compulsory, more than compulsory, to have a standard intermediary working with your club. Eddie Ogbemudia is an intermediary. I personally am a registered intermediary. There is another intermediary online, Gbenga Global. Intermediaries, we are over 300. You can check the NFF website, the nff.com. You see the list of intermediaries there. Contact us and we'll work for you. Mr. Mehifu, the economic structure of a football club in a minute. Then I turn to Olajide Akinyelu. What's the economic structure of a football club?
Well, the economic structure of a football club is usually how the club position itself to earn money, which solely is the responsibility of director of finance, if they have anyone like that. And he handles treasury duties, approve all cost of items, social events, calendars, sponsorships, bar operations, if we've gotten to that level here in Nigeria, which I think we have not, canteen operation, membership fees, merchandise, property, stewards, payments of stewards, player registration payments. So the economic structure of a football club and the way it should be planned is very, very dicey, delicate. You see, like we just said earlier on that why club needs agents. Most clubs are not big enough to do all these things. So these things have to be outsourced, have to be given to a third party. And that is why working with either agent or financial consultant or an economic advisor for the club, it's very important. Because you want to concentrate on your key skill or key aim, which is football. And then you have to outsource the others on how to generate funds, revenue. You have to go into partnerships. You have to go into how signage, ground signage, these things are advertisement, facility management. So to position yourself to earn revenue, to use revenue, this is a very big skill that football clubs would really either learn or acquire outside by outsourcing these services. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Olajide, 2 minutes, please.
Quickly, I'll try and quickly rush it up. Now, for economic structure of football, like he said, it's mainly the fans, the competition organizers, and brands. Those are the three things that bring money into the club. You know, from the fans, it's about ticketing and merchandising. For the competition organizer, which in our case doesn't really happen because the leagues we play don't get anything from broadcasters. It's not online, it's not on air, so they're not making money from it. So it's difficult for them to give us anything. You understand? So the last one is brands, sponsorship into the club. So when you understand as a club at Gbagada FC, we know the one from broadcaster is off the table. So our concentration is on the fans and the brands. Sponsorship from brands, fans supporting the club. So when you understand these things, that you have to have a strategy of how you want to generate revenue. I've heard so many people, hammering on player transfer. But if you have studied these big clubs in Europe, if you get their financial report every year, you would see that clearly player transfer is not how they make money. Because I can paint an example now. At Liverpool got 50 million for Torres. Then to Chelsea, it was huge then. But from that 50 million, immediately, they spent 35 million on Caro. Meaning, if you go check how clubs do their transfers, they don't really make much from player transfer. That is not the bulk of how they make money. So if you want to use that model, you have to really study it. So it's mainly for revenue. It's mainly match day, like I said. Commercial means everything you get from sponsorship, there's a whole lot that falls under commercial. There are three key things: match day, commercial, and broadcasting. For most of us in Nigeria, we don't make a dime from broadcasting. But does that mean you can't still create things to make money from broadcasting? we've been hearing so many things that very soon, maybe in 4 or 5 years, you know, Premier League wants to create their own channel where the fans subscribe directly to watch. You don't have to pay for DSTV. So I don't know if clubs have started thinking in that direction here in Nigeria, where you create your content and your fans subscribe, you know, to have access to your TV to watch. And that's something that, if you look at the pattern in the banking industry now, in the world, it's funny that Nigeria is actually the #1 country that, in terms of cashless society, where payments are done virtually online now, Nigeria is #1 in the world. And that is telling you something, that this generation, when I say this generation now, I'm taking 40 years below. They are comfortable making payments, placing orders online. The question is, what are football clubs thinking in this direction to tap into this audience that is very comfortable doing everything online? So I'll leave it at that. You need to have a financial strategy of how you want to bring funds into the club, but you do also need to understand your community, your fans, the behavior, all those things. By the time you sit down and plan, you definitely have a way of going about it. And to round up, my colleague said something about social media, Coach Deji. The thing is, the traditional media is expensive. Clubs like us can't afford it. You want 15 minutes on here to talk, they tell you go and bring 750K. That same 750K, if I use it online, I know how I'll get to the fans directly. So you need to, one key thing I want people to take from here, you can't know it, or if you're a football coach or a football coach, get someone that understands this platform, get someone. And the truth is, yes, you might not have that funds here, you're a small club, but there are people willing to work with you once you can show them where you're trying to get to. So it's key. Social media is key to what we do at Gbagada FC. And I think the next 5 years, half of Nigeria will be online. So are you going to set your club in a way that you'll be the first person to market to them directly? You understand? I'll quickly give you one example. There is this course I got on, Speak for Gold. It's a public speaking course, and they kept on sending me email every day as reminder about the course. You understand? They bombarded my emails until I made that decision to get on the course, and it's not free. I actually paid for it. If I ask us now, how many clubs in Nigeria have the database of their fans? How many clubs market to these fans that are in already directly via emails and all of those things? The answer is no, you won't find. You understand? So there's a lot we're not doing as clubs to run properly. So that's why we're saying fans are not doing this. We have a lot to do. So let me just leave it at that. I hope with the little I've said, someone would pick something about how to, yes, we're not big yet, but there is definitely money out there for you to make from the fans.
Absolutely,
directly.
yes.
It's key.
Yes,
it's there. It's working. It's key. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yeah, Hugo Castro. The economic structure and talent management. How can club structure on that?
One thing leads to another. If you have something, if you have a hotspot for talent, and you want to develop them, you will need to allocate the resources to that. You just can't wait for the talent to happen. You need to lay grounds for the talent to happen. And then there comes Hello, Michael. Hello. Can you hear me?
Clearly, you are on.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, the connection went down. What was the question, please? Because I didn't. I listened only in part.
Okay, I mean the economic structure. What is the economic structure of a football club? And talent management. How can you structure a club, a football club, on talent management? Yeah, you are a talent manager, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it compulsory for a football club to have a department like that, talent manager?
It should be. It should be. When we are when we are talking about football talent manager, we need to look ahead and see what are the needs of the football player in every field, in the pitch, outside the pitch, personal life, professional life. If we can do that, they will perform better in training and in matches because everything is taken care of. And we are also trying to find out the new thing that is going to arrive before them, so we can propose them to a new feature in football training or football exercises and everything, so they can welcome them that in order to improve their performance. So talent manager and economic football structure of a club goes hand in hand, because talent manager can get you so far, but without the economical resources, there's nothing much you can do. I'm not saying that you need loads of money. I'm just saying that you need professionals that develop the department, talent management department. I don't talk about the facilities. It's what you have and period. You just don't whine about the poor facilities that you have, or you don't have enough footballs, you don't have proper equipment. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the human capital that you have. Your coaches, your scouts, your players. These are the most important things that you have.
Let me ask you, Hugo.
Yeah.
Hugo, let me ask you, who is a talent manager?
Who is a talent manager?
Yeah.
He's someone that provides the football player of everything inside and outside the pitch. And they know that they can count on us to tell us the good things and the bad things that the club is doing. So we are the voice of players inside the club. So you don't evolve as an organization with only good reviews. You only evolve as an organization, as a professional in every field of the world with bad reviews. You grow on them. So an example, I had a player that was complaining about the transportation from our house, our clubhouse, to the training facilities. And I arranged with the board something that addressed his issue. So he's now happy because we now have the transportation that he sees that is a good thing. So he can concentrate himself on the pitch and training and winning matches. it's just a simple thing. The simple things grow the most inside the players, with all respect to everything else. So the talent manager has to be aware of what's happening, and most important also is he is aware of what is coming, either on the player's professional life or personal life, or something. Well, there's a new machine on recovery exercise, so let's dig into it and let's talk with the administration if it's a good thing to have it or not, or is it possible to have it or not. In a nutshell, is to provide present and future for the players.
Thank you. Abu Chairman, are you on? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm on. I can hear you loud and clear.
Kindly introduce yourself and say something about the topic for a minute, sir.
Okay. It's really a pleasure to be on this platform today. My name is Fadallah Habufari. I'm a civil servant, but I'm into football. I'm the chairman of Ashana Football Club, Taraba State. Well, I'm a good listener. I've been listening to all what you're saying about structure, finances, and other things. So it's really good. Well, basically, the major challenges we have in football is the finances, especially in Nigeria. We have difficulties of finances. Well, I have a team. I've been the sole financier of that team. It's a grassroots football in Taraba State. But my major challenge basically is how to help those players achieve and be successful. Because the dream of every player is to go and play abroad and be successful. And that is my major target towards achieving that. But we're having difficulties going to the right channel to achieve that. In essence, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of fraudulent activity. Sorry, I'm deviating from the structure and the whole thing. I'm talking based on general perspective of football in Nigeria. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So there are people who are willing to spend money to help these young players achieve their dreams. But it's the channel which is the issue, which is the major challenge. So it's a good thing. This whole interactive section is a good idea. At least I've heard Hugo talk about talent and how players can be successful, how a club can be properly managed to achieve that. So I think we should have this material. Hello?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so, well, sincerely, I watch football, I'm into football, but I really don't know much about structure of football. That's why I'm in this platform to understand more about it. So I can't say more about structure of a thing than I've said now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to call on Lawan Babangida. A minute introduction.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lawan Babangida Babayo from Kano. Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm Lawan Babangida Babayo from Kano. Also, someone with an interest in grassroots football and who has an interest to see the grassroots football in Nigeria gets to the level it needs to go and be recognized in the world. That's just it for now. I just came online lately to have a grasp on how football management is being run. I just happen to have interest in grassroots football and just that and nothing for now. Sure.
All right, thank you. Best man, a minute.
Well, I'm best man, okay. I'm a very good follower of Right to Win.
Wow.
I played football before my injury, so I'm a very good level of grassroots football, and I support whatever team I find in my locality. So that's just it. I'm just a good follower of football. I'm a
Thank
businessman
you.
now, so I just want to learn
Thank you.
what is happening.
Thank you. Anthony Bruno, are you there? Anthony Bruno, Obieke Charles, Ayodeji Akerele.
Hello, Bruno is here.
Okay, Bruno.
Okay, my name is Anthony Bruno, but everybody will call me Bruno. I'm a football intermediary, working with Right to Win and also Myron. They introduced me to this platform, so I'm here also to listen and to see what I can bring into the platform in future concerning football and talent development.
Okay.
Sorry about that because I'm in the car. So I just want to have a good introduction.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Obieke Charles.
I'm based in Europe, in Slovenia.
Okay.
Right.
You are welcome. Thank you for being part of the show.
All right.
Obieke Charles.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Obieke Charles, and I'm a adult football follower too. I also run a small academy. But I've been listening here, and I believe the core issues, the main issues are about running a football club in Nigeria have been the major questions I would have loved to ask. I think I've been dealt with. So that's why I have not even raised my hand to ask more questions, because
you are on now.
Yeah. That's why I've not been able to ask any question, because I think the major things here would have loved to ask have been dealt with. And I'm happy to be part of this meeting today. That's what I have to say for now. Yeah.
Okay, you can go on with your questions.
No, I said the major question, the main things I would have loved to ask have been dealt with. Every other person here, there's no need of wasting the time of everybody. I have gotten the ideas on how it should be run, on how things have been done. So
wow, that's
okay
good.
with,
that's the essence of this show. Gbenga Global, are you on?
Yeah.
A minute introduction, please.
Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Gbenga Global, a player intermediary. I am so delighted to be part of this meeting today to share ideas and to learn more about how we can help our grassroots to grow, to connect, and to achieve their vision in life. Well, the connection is very important, and thank God that we are having this program now to know ourselves and which level are we, and how we can still go on by achieving our goal by helping those talented players. It's good to have talented players. Like that one of my brothers says there that he doesn't know a route to follow to take them to Europe or their destination land. It's very easy by meeting the right people, and this is how we can start it. Thank God for Mr. Ambassador Michael to come up with this idea. I would suggest if we can be doing this thing every month, it's a suggestion actually, if we can take it that we can be running this program every month, so we can bring more people from local and international to help us from local end to international wing. And I'm sure with the collaboration and connectivity, it will help our young ones to achieve their aim in life. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We can actually be having this kind of program weekly. If the likes of you can sponsor it. We need sponsor.
No problem. I'm ready to support. I'm ready. It's a fantastic program which you need to be running.
Anyway, to wrap it up, let me quickly chip in this. I personally, I'm about to publish a book titled How to Achieve Success in Football. So in this book, I want to publish as many as I can get the names and contact of grassroots football clubs in Nigeria. If you have a club, you can send your name, the owner's details, the contact, the name of the club, your training pitch, your address, email, Facebook account, all the social media accounts. Send it directly to me, and it will be published in the book. The book will be available soon, and I wish you can get one. It's good for footballers, coaches, and club owners. Yeah, before we conclude this part, let me call on Eddie. Eddie, what's your advice to football clubs in Nigeria?
All right, thank you very much. I want to appreciate all the participants of this seminar or conference, as the name may be. Personally, if I'm to advise...
It's a roundtable discussion. Roundtable discussion.
Okay, thank you for all the participants of this roundtable discussion. It's a great privilege to be part of this epoch-making event. But personally, I've learned a lot from a lot of the speakers. Some of the things I'm hearing for the first time, some I've heard before, and they are being re-emphasized. So if I would advise grassroots clubs is you need to make your structures right. You need to take documentation very, very serious, irrespective of how you are keeping it. It's very important that if you are engaging a player, let there be a record, documented, signed from the previous club or signed by the player himself that is under your management. If you do just get a player you recruit and you say is your player, tomorrow that player can just walk away because an amateur player without a contract can go to any club as he likes. So it's very important that as you are recruiting these players, you pass through the process of documentation. That's why the emphasis on getting a registered intermediary is very important, who can guide you on how to put the right documentation in place. Just as Kelechi mentioned, so that in future, when it's time for you to earn something on this player, you have something to fall back to. So, and also, even though we have instances whereby some of all these clubs are being run by an individual, who is the coach, is the chairman, is the all in all, it's very important you have others working with you that are professionals. You can't do everything on your own. You need to have people working with you that will run some other aspect of the club. If you really want to run a club as a professional, unless you are doing it as an NGO or some of the CSR to take the boys from the street, fine. Then you shouldn't be talking about money. So also on a final note, one key aspect that I've observed that clubs in Nigeria are not actually focused on is on the aspect of merchandise. There is a way you can just design some key rings, design some little items, and you might think it can actually rake in a lot of revenues to you. So talking about JC, at the time I have to order for some JC for some local clubs here, and it got to me, I love the packaging. So some of all these things are things they can key into in your community. As I mentioned in one of my speech earlier in the morning, I said we need to be part of maybe some social work, maybe there is debt in the community, just organize your player with your JC, some JC, let them do some more. People ask, they will need to, with time they will identify with your club. Let me just round up here because of our time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Kelechi, your parting word.
Hello?
Yeah, you
Can you hear me? Okay, it's been a wonderful seminar or roundtable discussion, like you said.
Yeah.
I've actually learned lots today from the different speakers on things that I also need to incorporate into my own football club to be able to push up to the next level. So, and I believe that with regular sessions like this, we can be able to learn from each other and to be able to help our different clubs. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. If you can sponsor, I've said it earlier, we need sponsors. So, Engineer Kelechi Orji, you can be one of the sponsors of this program. Having it weekly is not a bad.
No problem.
No problem. Okay, Eddie, send the details to him. You have it already. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the show. My name remains Michael Sodeke. I'm a registered intermediary. You can watch this program, but you can watch it on our Twitter, on Facebook, on the YouTube, the Instagram. You just search for Anfieldlane Sport TV. You can get the replay of this program on that channel. So thank you for being part. Also, if you are sending your club's details, you can send it to 08057041719. It's a WhatsApp number. Send it to
You are too fast. You are too fast. Just come slowly so that we can write down.
08057041719. So you can send your club's details there, and I'm promising you the club's name details will be published with the book. Thank you once again.
Hello. Can you come again, please, with the number, please? Sorry.
Okay, 080.
Okay.
57.
Yeah.
04.
Okay.
1719.
1719. Okay.
Yeah, that's the number. So send the details there. If you want to talk to me, you can use the same number, or you can use my MTN 07068054498. If you want to talk to me directly, you can use 0706805.
Send it to the chat room.
Yeah, 68054498. Yeah, that's direct to me. Kelechi, Coach Dejiosene, McDonald, Hugo Castro, Gbenga Global, Eddie, Ogbemudia, Abu Chairman, Best Man, Bello-lasoro A, Akirele, Obieke Charles, Anthony Bruno, Lawan Babangida, Adegun Shola, and Coach Eri. I appreciate you all, and the host of others that have left because of one engagement or the other. To appreciate each other, I want us to just clap for ourselves. No, appreciate ourselves. Just let us clap to appreciate ourselves. Yeah, thank you. Until I call you again, my name remains Michael Sodeke. Thank you. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care of you guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Ah.